All right, thank you very much, Councillor Darby, much appreciated. Right, let's introduce Matt Peterson now. A long list of achievements too, I can tell you. He is the CEO at Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator. Prior to joining that, he was appointed as the first ever Chief Sustainability Officer for the City of Los Angeles, serving as CSO for 4 years. Matt was also the chief architect of the groundbreaking Sustainable City Plan and helped create the Climate Mayors. He also co-founded Global Green USA and led the organisation for 19 years as president and CEO. The organisation was a pioneer in greening of affordable housing, schools and cities, as well as helping grow the solar sector. Now, in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, Matt put forth a vision and mobilised resources to green the rebuilding of New Orleans. Matt is chair of the Climate Mayors Board, a board member of Global Green USA, Habitat for Humanity of Greater LA, Centre for Environmental Health and the Sir Edmund Hillary Institute for International Leadership. He's also a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, the LA Sustainability Leadership Council, and has served as an advisor to the Clinton Global Initiative on Energy and Environment, while a CGI member for 10 years. It is quite remarkable that you found the time to get here. It's an impressive achievement. Matt Peterson, if you could come to the stage, thank you very much.
Kia ora. Good to be here with you. Thank you very much, Councillor. Thank you for the warm greetings and the great framing of your conversation. It's impressive to hear what you and your colleagues are doing here in this great city of Auckland. This is my second visit to your amazing, beautiful nation. My first was 10 years ago to Christchurch, where I first got involved with the Sir Edmund Hillary Institute and was giving my remarks down in Christchurch, and I created an international diplomatic faux pas by getting then Prime Minister Helen Clark to hug the President of Kiribati, which was a small diplomatic incident, but it was one where I think I worked through it, and it was a great welcome to your nation. I have a couple questions, first of all. We have it looks like the French rugby team staying at our hotel across the way. How many All Blacks fans do we have? Anybody? A few? All right. Okay, good to know. A couple other questions. How many people love where you live? How many people love your home? All right, good. How many people love humanity? Other people, your fellow citizens? Fewer hands. Some people we don't like. That's good to know. I think we're all the same way. All right, good to know. I will give you a little bonus at the end. Some of you were tuned into this yesterday, but most of you weren't. I'll give you a little secret of saving the world, but that's later. First, I just want to share a quick little story that kind of brought things together for me around how we treat each other as human beings and how we treat the planet. I went to the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of the Congo twice with an amazing individual, a woman named Eve Ensler, who some of you may know from her work as a playwright. She wrote Vagina Monologues and some other amazing pieces of work. And Eve went there to bring several of us to see how, with local partners, she's building this place called City of Joy that was providing a place for women whose lives and bodies had literally been torn apart by the war and atrocity, rapes and atrocities that are happening in that part of the world. And one of the things driving that violence and those horrible acts that are being forced upon women and girls, but also men and boys, was the drive for getting a hold of rare earth minerals that power our electronics. Cobalt, tin, and other rare earth minerals in what is now known as conflict minerals. And there's been some acts in the United States and other parts of the world to try to change that. But what struck me wasn't just this horrible atrocity going on and still going on. It was that these women I happened to have the great honor to dance with at this ceremony that opened this place called City of Joy, which houses and helps 92 women at a time after their bodies have been repaired down the way at the Ponzi Hospital by an amazing man named Dr. McGuagey, that they were given their lives back by their own accord, that they were able to, with time and space and help and classroom training, be able to, over those 6 months, reclaim their lives and dignity. And many of them were going out and starting businesses. So this, to me, was the pinnacle of really seeing how we the most acute point I could ever find in my life of how we treat the earth and how we treat other people. They come together, and we need to remind ourselves of that around fairness and equity, climate change, and that we really can move forth together in tackling equity, economy, and the environment together. It's fundamental. So quick story that sort of brings to life a little bit what Colin shared. I started something when I was running Global Green looking for citizen entrepreneurs because we need governments to act, we need corporations to act, we need cities to act, and we also need to take responsibility for a corner of our world. So when I left Global Green, I kept the idea alive and I called it Citizen E. And so for my 50th birthday a little over a year ago, I asked friends and family to give money to help support an individual we would find in the United States who was taking responsibility for a corner of the world. So just about a month ago, we finalized our search. We picked a winner, and her name was Bronte Velez, an amazing young woman who had decided to turn violence into hope after she lost a friend to gun violence in the U.S., something that is really, unfortunately, acute in the United States versus the rest of the world. And she did that in a way that connected the dots. She said, let's take guns, melt them into shovels, and plant trees on the 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination in Atlanta. So she planted trees. She did that. She melted these guns with some partners, turned them into shovels, planted trees throughout Atlanta, including at the Martin Luther King Center in Atlanta. And to me, she really embodies that sense of hope and opportunity to bring together these crises and really a chance to heal each other and heal the planet. So citizens, we need citizens.
Tell us her name again.
Bronte Velez.
Thank you.
Citizens, cities, and clean tech are the sort of the theme I'm going to frame here with you. But this next part of my journey takes me into the city of New Orleans, which Colin talked about here. This is when I was able to give then the head of Green Cross International. I ran the U.S. affiliate Global Green. Mikhail Gorbachev was Green Cross International president, and I took him down to the lower 9th Ward in New Orleans, one of the most vulnerable and the poorest neighborhoods in the city of New Orleans that was devastated by human hand of not just failure of infrastructure, but of course climate change. Storm surge and storm intensity made worse by climate change combined with the failure of the levees. And this whole neighborhood in the lower 9th Ward was just completely washed away. The lives of primarily African-American families whose homes have been passed through generations and whose income and lives were very vulnerable, and most would never return. So along the way, we decided to say we're going to green the schools, we're going to green the city, so we leveraged some grant dollars from the Clinton-Bush fund after Katrina, $2 million. We got the school district to build showcase schools with better daylight, where students are shown to learn better and test better when there's better daylight, better air quality in those classrooms. We also built this showcase of a home that's now a village. I don't have a photo here of the final product, but this was about a decade ago, where this well-known individual partnered with us to do a design competition, Brad Pitt. And and we then built 5 single-family homes, the first green homes in the lower 9th Ward, 5 LEED Platinum homes. And then Brad went on to build about another 2, I think 50 to nearly 100 now. So there are more LEED Platinum homes, the greenest standard of homes in this neighborhood, more than any other place in America. And to be honest, it had nothing to do with me or this famous guy. There was an individual named Pam DeShiel, an activist in our neighborhood, before I showed up, before Brad Pitt showed up, and said, we're going to rebuild this neighborhood to be the first carbon neutral neighborhood in America. And she'd built that support from the community to do it. Otherwise, we would have been these interlopers saying, we're going to force you guys to rebuild the way we want you to rebuild. She'd built that community support, and that's really who's the true hero, Pam DeShiel. So working with cities across the country, then I turned my work to the city of Los Angeles. This building is famous, our city hall, not just from the show Dragnet. Anybody remember that show? So many. But others, of course, where our city hall has appeared as a star in movies and television. And really there in the city, we created our first ever sustainable city plan. You can find it online at plan.lamayor.org. It was the first comprehensive plan of its type for Los Angeles, focused on equity, the environment, and economy. Again, how do we make these things work together to create a better more robust city. Los Angeles may be known as the home of Hollywood and lots of other things, but we're really moving faster on the path towards sustainability. Just 2 weeks ago, Mayor Garcetti, our current mayor, made a commitment to make LA to be carbon neutral by 2050. So our previous goal was 80% reduction over 1990 levels by 2050. Now we've moved to carbon neutral. The city is moving towards 100% clean energy. We started that when I was there. We're moving towards zero emissions transportation, all electric buses by 2030 for the city and the county. And on and on and on about the things that we're beginning to do. Yesterday talked about some of our building initiatives as well. But while there, we did something that was important. When President Obama was in the White House, we collected these mayors across the country from cities that were early adopters, leaders, not just C40 cities as Auckland is, but some smaller cities, cities of 180,000 even, that were really making a difference in places like everything from Somerset, Massachusetts, to Berkeley, California, to Los Angeles, to Houston, Texas, where there was a strong mayor in this oil and gas city. These mayors here, Mayor Garcetti on the right, Mayor Ruggiero of Knoxville, Tennessee, and Mayor Marty Walsh of Boston, and Mayor Turner of Houston, who's not pictured here, really all came together to lead this group of mayors to put wind at the back of President Obama going into the Paris Climate Agreement negotiations. Well, then what happened? We got a great climate agreement, then somebody else got elected to the White House we weren't so sure about. So we went from 33 mayors. We sent an open letter around within 2 weeks after Trump getting elected, or some say, he who shall not be named. But, and we had 70 mayors all of a sudden sign this letter saying, President-elect Trump, please work with us. Cities are on the front line of climate change, but it's also where the heart of innovation is happening. These are where the solutions are on the front lines, where we're changing people's lives. We're not just filling potholes. We're putting in transit. LA just passed a $120 billion transit initiative, the largest infrastructure investment in the country. Come work with us across the country to put infrastructure in place that makes us more resilient, to fight climate change, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, to protect our most vulnerable. We got silence. Months pass. We get word that he's going to pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement. We prepared for that moment. The day in the Rose Garden in the White House, when he pulled out on June 1st of 2017, we were ready. And we had 70 mayors that day, by that time, who said they were going to adopt the Paris Climate Agreement in their city. By the next day, we had 170. Within 2 weeks, we had 350. Now we have over 400 mayors committed to that same goal in 47 states across our country. So the voice of climate resistance and the will of action is alive in the United States of America. We will continue to lead. Yes, California is really known as a leader. There are 12 other states across the country that are joining with us. And not everything's perfect, just like it's not perfect here. You need a better building energy code here in Auckland and in New Zealand. I've heard that. And we're going to do what we can to share our knowledge there. Same in California. We're still heavily dependent on the extraction industry of oil. Los Angeles is built on oil, but that's not our future. Our future is moving to zero emissions transportation. And one of the success stories that we put in place, I went to this place called LA Clean Tech Incubator. This was a fun little greeting I got my first day. Welcome, Matt. Is we, excuse me, are focused on startup companies. So again, citizens, cities, and clean tech. These are our various solutions, some of which are really exciting, like our first electric airplane larger than 2 passengers that will be in the air in the world will be by our startup Ampere. They'll have 8-passenger electric airplane that can go up to 100 miles by the end of the year. They're going to do their first test flights by the end of the year. And a lot of other exciting companies. And we have this amazing campus that is a stunning example of a partnership between our municipal utility in the city of Los Angeles, between City Hall, and we're a nonprofit. They built this facility, 61,000 square foot space, clean tech, co-working space, event space, prototyping center, and it's owned by the city. They gave us a $1 a year lease. Then they said, hey, go do great things. How rare is that? Really amazing and trust and innovation that's happening to move forward towards a cleaner future. I won't go into this. You can look at our website, laci.org or LACI. We're focused on creating jobs, cleaning our air, because our most disadvantaged and poorest communities suffer the most from poor air quality. And then we're also working to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Quick little exciting announcement we just had. We're creating this partnership between utilities, the mayor, our top state regulator, and other partners to say, how can we get to 100% zero emissions transportation by the time the world arrives in the Olympics, for the Olympics in 2028. It's throwing down a bold, audacious goal. And I think that's something we need to do everywhere. So we're really focused again on citizens, cities, and clean tech. Excuse me. But I also promised you, it's all right, doesn't matter. The secret to saving the world, right? Make sure if I got this right. Yes. New Zealand, before I get into that, I just wanted to echo something the councillor said. New Zealand's a small but mighty country. And just as you did with the nuclear-free zone and beyond that, really putting people's lives at risk to say the right thing, not just say the right thing, but do the right thing, we need you to be bold. When you stand up and you take action in this small but not mighty nation, people notice. So when your prime minister, hopefully she's able to come to California when the Governor Brown hosts his climate summit in San Francisco in the middle of September, and your mayor and your city councilors come, hopefully, they've come with bold commitments that lead the world in the same way that you led on suffrage, that you led on nuclear-free zones, that you led on apartheid. Please help us and humanity change the course of our future. So with that, I want everybody to stand up for a second. Secret to saving the world. Put your right hand up. Repeat after me. Let's go France. Oh, sorry. Just a little All Blacks humor. I love my home. And I love humanity. Now give the person next to you a big hug. That's enough hugging back there. All right, so when you come to California or you go to the next conference and parties, these boring meetings, but where real commitments happen, please give the world a New Zealand hug or a hangi, I think maybe even more appropriately. So thank you very much.